Many of us believe money can't buy you education. True. But many of us also believe without money, you can't get education either. That I disagree with. Hundreds of students have proved that it is possible to study without money, including me. I have studied in the United States for my master's and PhD, and I have never paid a single dollar towards my tuition fees. Today, in this video, I'm going to prove that how can anybody study almost free of cost in not just any university, but the Harvard, the best of the best, the most prestigious, the one of the oldest, the one of the Ivies, the mighty Harvard. So let's begin.
So I made it to Harvard. Never thought I'd be able to say that in my life, but it feels good.
This year, approximately 57,000 students applied to Harvard for an undergraduate program and only 1966 were admitted. The acceptance rate was only 3.4%, and that makes Harvard one of the toughest Ivy League to get in. And why not? The best of the best, the cream of the world, the most lustrous students apply to Harvard for undergraduate program every year from all over the world. Now, if I talk about the tuition fees, if you have to pay out of your pocket, it could easily cost you around 54,000 US dollars each year. Frankly, that's quite substantial, even for well-to-do families. But fortunately, not everyone has to pay to study at Harvard. Harvard's financial aid package is so generous that it covers 100% tuition fee for eligible students. What makes you eligible? Well, it's your family's income. If your family is rich, very affluent, then Harvard wants you to contribute towards the tuition fees. But if not, then Harvard will take care of your tuition fees. That's how much they care about the education. That's how much they care about their students. It could be totally free if you are eligible. That's true. That's really true. Harvard's financial aid is need-based. If your family income is less than 85,000 US dollars, which is roughly 70 lakh rupees in Indian currency per year, you don't have to pay any tuition fees. Harvard will take care of your tuition fees. And that's true for domestic student as well as all international students. And if your family is making anywhere between 85,000 US dollar to 150,000 US dollars, your contribution toward tuition fees will still be less than 10% of your family's annual income. The best part is, since the Harvard practices the need blind admission policy for everyone, asking Harvard for financial aid would not diminish your chances of admission at Harvard. They treat every student equally, domestic as well as international. Scholarship application is a separate process than admission application at Harvard. While for the admission, you have to go through either the Coalition app or the Common app, which is same for international students as well as domestic students. But for scholarships, you have to go through the CSS profile and apply through the CSS. In addition to CSS, you also have to send your documents, parents' tax documents, through the iDoc platform. While CSS profile serves an application for the financial aid, iDoc serves as the proof of eligibility. As I said earlier, Harvard provides the financial aid based on the demonstrated financial need. So you gotta prove that your income is certain. You gotta prove that your income is below certain numbers, or your family's income is below certain numbers. November 1 is the financial aid deadline for the restrictive early action. February 1 is regular decision, and March 1 is for transfer students. Make sure you send your application on time because Harvard is really very strict about the deadlines. The greatest hurdle to get the scholarship or the financial aid at Harvard is not the CSS profile, but to get into the Harvard. Harvard practices the holistic admission policy, which means Harvard will not only look at your test scores and grades, but they go deep. They look at the rigor of the secondary school records, the application essays, the extracurricular activities, the character and the personal qualities, the volunteer work, the work experience, the letter of recommendation, the school report, and much more. These are some of the factors that Harvard looks at while offering an admission. And surprisingly enough, Harvard does not care about your class rank. So it does not make any sense, or there's no point mentioning your class rank in your application, admission application. At undergraduate level, Harvard accepts applications through Common App or the Coalition App, as I said earlier. So that's the first thing you need to do. If you want to send your application, you have to make an account with the Common App and send your application from there. And keep in mind, for the undergraduate admission, you have to apply for the Harvard College. Okay, that's their undergraduate college. And the majors at Harvard are not called majors. Instead, they are called concentrations. So that's the thing that you have to keep in mind while applying or sending your application to the Common App. If you use a Common Application or Common App, you must submit your application before the supporting materials can be released to the college, like as secondary school report or teacher's report and etc. The next, you would need school report and a teacher's recommendations. That includes mid-year school report, final school report or transcripts, counselor's letter, and teacher's recommendation. In case you don't have a counselor in your school, you can get it from your school principal. And then you need your test scores, either SAT or ACT. Students applying for the class of 27 and beyond do not need to send the SAT or ACT because Harvard is going to waive the SAT or ACT requirement for those students in the future. In addition to this, if you are an international student, you also need to prove your English proficiency by submitting either TOEFL scores or PTE or Duolingo or IELTS score. And if you have the APs, that will be an added advantage as well. Whether you are a PhD student or studying for a master's degree, the dedicated staff of the Office of Financial Aid can help you develop a plan that enables you to secure the resources necessary to pursue your graduate education. So if you get admitted at Harvard at graduate level, you will have a dedicated financial aid officer that will help you find financial aid at Harvard. Grants and fellowship come from internal and external sources, traineeship, teacher fellowship, research assistantships, other academic employment opportunities, and several types of loans. Harvard guarantees full financial support to PhD students, including tuition fees, health fees, and basic living expenses for a minimum of 5 years. The standard funding package includes, number 1, tuition and fees paid in full for 4 years. Number 2, living expense stipend during first 2 years. Number 3, stipend, teaching fellowships and or research assistantships during year 3 and 4. Number 4, stipend and or research support during the completion year, which is your dissertation year. Students in the science typically receive full financial support until they finish their degree. For master's students, there are also many sources of funding at Harvard. There are program-specific scholarships. For example, look at this page. Then there is a possibility of becoming an advisor or student center fellow and so on. You can also, by the way, join a professor and become a research assistant or RA, and that will take care of your, tuition fees, your health insurance, and other living expenses in terms of monthly stipend and so on. There are so many funding opportunities at Harvard for master's students as well. That's all I have today. If you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, classmates, parents, whoever interested. Thank you so much for watching this video and for giving me your valuable time. I will see you in the next video next week. Take care. Bye.